you all on Women Dialogues, and I'm your host Shashi with you all to create more voice for women and by women. And today's our guest is Dr. Bindu Babu from New York. She's successful integrative physician and award-winning celebrity transformational coach. She has been awarded New York Most Powerful Women in Business 2019. And I'm so excited. Welcome, Dr. Bindu Babu, to the Women Dialogues.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. Shashi. I'm happy to be here and I'm looking forward to our talk.
Oh, while having your introduction, and when I was finding this, oh, she's most powerful women in business 29. It was making me so excited. Speaking and feeling like, yes, yeah, we need that. We need on this platform to talk about, to share with our audience. So let's start by hearing your life story, success journey, and to learn, to motivate, to inspire. So please share with our viewers your childhood memories and some nice experiences as being a female you might have experienced.
Well, first of all, I'm grateful. It's Women's History Month, and I believe every day should be Women's Day. And it's nice to see I so many of my colleagues, and I was telling Dr. Shashi right before we got on, who joined and are doing so many fantastic things to empower women. And I think one breath of what I always say all the time to my clients, to my corporates, everybody is, if I can do it, you can too. It's all about mindset, perception, and understanding that you are enough, and self-love. I am a medical physician, and then I went through my journey in my personal life that really kicked me off. And that's why I feel like we all have life purposes. And I needed to heal. I was in a toxic narcissistic relationship and I didn't know how to heal. And being a medical background or a medicine, allopathic medicine, I knew mental health wise, and I'm sure you know as well, Dr. Shashi, is there's no pill to heal you. There's no pill. There's no drug that's going to heal you in mental health. Right. These medications like Xanax or Zoloft or antidepressants or anti-mania, whatever these medications that you can utilize, they just alleviate the symptoms. Yeah. They don't solve the problem. It's more of coping or how, just to make you function so you can function. But it doesn't solve the problem. And the problem is solved only by you. But we all need modalities, right? We need to learn, we need to understand. And I read a book by Dr. Brian Weiss, MD, Many Lives, Many Masters. And that book changed my entire life. Wow. Changed my entire life. Now, and I'm going to be a little personal, and I usually don't do this, but I'll say it. And this is for all the other women. I was in such a position where I felt like I lost my soul. I couldn't grasp life anymore because I was a wife, a mother, and culturally it's considered wrong to get divorced. And culturally we think, what would society think? And what would family think? And then when you love somebody and they say they love you back, and they have responsibility and they committed in front of God to be with you forever and the marriage and the whole spiel. And then they turn around and they treat you so horribly, where you are mentally like, don't know who you are anymore. You really don't know how to come out of it, because where is the support structure? Because you have known your entire life, these are the correct things to do. That means please your parents, make them proud. Please your extended family, make them proud. Please society and make them proud. Please your spouse and make them proud. Be a role model for your children so they have a good life, so they can be proud of you. Your sister, your siblings. I mean, this can go on, the amount of pressure we have, cookie cutter wise, of culture, society, people that we live up to. And if you're with somebody who utilizes that as a weapon to control you and your belief structure, you don't know anymore what to do. And you have nowhere to turn for support. And
Yeah.
also, nobody likes to put their life story out. Nobody wants
Yeah.
their marriage life out. Nobody wants people to know. Even that, if you do, you can't handle your marriage. You can't handle your life. There's no win here. And
Hmm.
I felt as women, it's very tough. And I'm sure men too. Don't get me wrong. It's just my niche in business is women, but I have a
Yeah.
lot of men too. So
Yeah.
I needed to find my healing, and that book's really changed my life. And this was a physician, a doctor, um, Harvard or Yale graduate, Ivy League. He was the chairman of psychiatry in Miami-Dade Hospital, somewhere in Florida. Um, tons of scientific publication. Now, this is my left brain talking, very science. And he was doing hypnotherapy on his
Hmm.
patients, and he tapped into their past lives.
Yeah.
So this is very different. We're talking about a scholar, not
Yeah.
just, a psychic or, somebody where nothing wrong with psychics. Now I'm a big believer. But back
Yeah.
then I was very science.
Hmm.
If it's not tangible evidence in my hands, I don't believe it. And that book changed my life, where I learned so much. And then, I, being me, decided I wanted my healing. I wanted to understand more. So
Right.
I started meditating. Then I became a
Mhm.
Reiki master, like energy healer. Then I
Yeah.
went after Dr. Brian Weiss, and I'm trained by him to be a past life regression therapist. Then I
Yeah.
wanted to go further. I wanted to heal all women. I
Yeah,
want
I can
everyone to
see that.
discover
I can
this.
see even with your work, you are all around globally. You are doing a lot of work, a lot of training and therapy, and you are even expert in narcissistic toxic relationship. So yeah, please carry on.
Yeah, no, it was my goal to, and this is your niche as well, gender-based violence, an advocate against gender-based violence, empowering women, and most importantly, learning how to heal. There's reasons why we get into these relationships, which is, in a nutshell, a lot to do with self-love, and
Hmm.
also, our cultural beliefs and structures.
Hmm.
And I just want to clarify, I'm not saying society is wrong. I'm not saying marriage is wrong. I'm a big advocate of keeping relationships and marriage
Yeah,
together. But if
yeah,
it's toxic and you're losing yourself and it's going to hurt your children, that's a product of that as well.
yeah,
They're going to repeat that behavior,
yeah,
or they may not believe in you because you're going through all these different things and allowing someone to hurt you and lose
yeah,
who you are. Then
yeah,
you have to rethink what life is really and what your purpose is. And is that really what spiritually you want to be connected to? And then
yeah,
next is healing, finding
yeah,
yourself, loving yourself, understanding who you are, empowering yourself.
yeah,
And that's what I do with so many people globally. I was a Zoom person way before Zoom became the COVID,
yeah. I
thing
remember.
too.
I know we were used to be on so much on these global platform, and I think that way we met almost
Yeah,
3 years back, and now it's everywhere.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Female wave of change is just amazing. Ingun Bowl is just such a wonderful woman to pull that together and connect it. I mean, that's how we connected, and
Yeah,
we are all, spiritually inclined. I always call it like a soul tribe, you know.
yeah,
Um, and that's how I started my career. And then I became an entrepreneur. I teach entrepreneurship. I teach branding. And I work with a lot of people, NGOs, nonprofits, speaking. I speak at psychiatric conferences, and my goal is to empower women and
yeah.
teach them how to heal themselves so they can heal other people.
Yes, definitely. And I think the way you explain about your experience as a medical physician, you have studied, and then versus you are more believe in therapies, I can say, rather than treatment of medical or medicine
Holistic.
based holistics. Yeah. So when we are talking about, and in current scenario, when this global pandemic is going on, people are so much stressed, they have a lot of mental issues and all. So do you think in that, in particular, in current time, what way these therapies, how they can avail, or how they can access, or how they can implement in their own life to get that feeling the way as you explain?
So the way we would work on ourselves, especially during COVID, because COVID kind of put us in a place where we really had to acknowledge ourselves.
Yeah.
We came out of that routine, right, of going to work, taking care of certain responsibilities, doing certain things. And then, so it really came to a point where you're like, okay, I need to really delve in myself, or I'm going to
Yeah.
kill my partner. There was so many different aspects that people were really having a tough time. And
Yes.
my biggest thing is meditate. You must meditate. When you meditate, it's not only, as losing your stresses and, physical health, of calming yourself down. I mean, we know that meditation has a lot of impact physically as well. I mean, there's several Harvard studies, Yale studies, global studies showing the impact of meditation, brain regrowth, growth of neurons, synapses increasing. I mean, things that we never expected in science, gray matter. I mean, that's a big one, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, when I was growing up with medicine, gray matter doesn't grow, you know? And now with meditation, you see so many different things and it's
Yeah.
amazing physically.
Yeah.
So, but spiritually, you connect to your
Mhm.
inner being, you connect to your inner consciousness, and we have so much wisdom in our inner consciousness. And I always say, if you have control of you and you can empower you, and I'm not saying like in a physical manner, in a very conscious manner of understanding your emotions, which you get with meditation, you can, you're the most powerful person in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other people won't disturb you.
Yes, that's so true. That having holistic approach and following those things, it not only can improve your gray matter, it can improve your holistic whole all the way your life. So when
Right.
we're talking about these all kind of approach or these meditation and all, what way do you think as a female do you think when we're talking about you have successful career, you have shared your personal some of the struggles, but how the female can overcome their major hurdles in their career life as you overcome, because it might be definitely stressful situation initially for you, but it might you might can share or maybe inspire or motivate to many other women by sharing how one can overcome these hurdles and challenges.
3 words: dedication, passion, and discipline. There's no
Mhm.
doubt about it. You have to
Mhm.
be authentically yourself and who you
Mhm.
are. Never change who you are and your belief structures or your characteristics, because that's what makes you uniquely you. And that's why you're different from other people. There's,
Yes.
there's so many coaches and so many practitioners out there, but every
Mhm.
one of them have a unique ability. So don't be
Mhm.
intimidated. Like, I love other healthcare practitioners and other coaches because I'm always learning. And
Yes.
what I bring on the table is different what someone else brings on the table. There's plenty. There's
Yeah.
plenty of help, plenty of different ways. And it's
Yeah.
always so powerful when we're all together. But you must not only follow your authentic self, but you have to be smart. You have to dedicate. You have to have discipline. You
Yeah.
must be on top of your game. You have to have the discipline of waking up early in the morning, meditating, doing your affirmations, having your structure, your days planned, how you're going to do it, what are your goals, and completing them at the same time. Self-care, self-love. It's I always believe you follow your passion, you follow your dedication, and you must be disciplined. You have to
Yeah.
be. There's no ifs, ands, and buts.
Yeah, that's wise advice and wise words I can say, because we all need those things. So when we are talking about these, one has to follow, and they can follow all the way while shaping their career, while shaping their personal life and developing themselves, rather than feeling humiliated or maybe uh, having the feeling of getting hurt. If they have that feeling, they can develop themselves. But when we talk about in current scenario, what future you think this world has in coming times, and specifically, when we are talking again, we are coming on this pandemic, because as your work definitely brings a lot of positive thing and inspire and motivate people. So how you think about this the world when it is coming in future and coming time, and specifically this COVID era?
So to me, COVID brought a lot of unity to
Hmm.
people, a
Right.
lot of unity. A lot of people I know have lost loved ones. It is so horrific and very unfortunate. And that's such a process of healing. I mean, actually, you know what? I always say, when you lose someone, there is no healing. Um,
Mm,
there's no such thing as a healing from a lost one.
mhm,
And the reason I'm going to say that is because when you're in a relationship with someone and you break up, then you heal from that. But
mm,
when you lose a loved one, a
mm,
parent or a sibling or a spouse, that's a hurt that's going to always be with you. You just
mm,
learn how to cope with that pain, because every time that loss comes to you in your head, it's reliving it at that moment. It's
mhm,
very painful to lose a loved one, but it's learning to cope, how to live, and that takes time and healing.
mm.
um, and people are going through so many of those different factors and different ways after COVID or during COVID. And the pandemic, thank God, is coming to some control, but it's
Mm.
still out there. But it's,
Yeah.
again, being self-caring, self-love, compassion to others without judgment. You don't know what the other person's going through, you know? Don't judge people and focus on you, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Focus on you. Mind your own business.
Yeah.
And grow
Yeah,
secure.
it is so true, and I think people need that because very often they like if I bring some of the culture and some of the societies where, as you mentioned earlier, people try to always have thinking of pleasing them rather than they feel like, okay, that's independent person, individual person, they have their own life or their own thinking, personality, and so on. But as always, that's so true, that mind your business, and if you can see a positive, that's well and good, otherwise keep yourself in your way.
Right. Stop giving, headache to somebody else because of
Yes,
your belief
exactly.
structure. It's not helping you. You want to,
Yeah.
I'm not saying anyone's beliefs are wrong. I mean, fine, believe what you want to believe. But when you impose it on somebody, that's, if they're not asking for your help, then mind your own business, you
Yes.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's all about boundaries, keeping those boundaries and respecting each other.
Yeah.
That comes, that's something with you have to learn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. And I think that's very powerful statement. I can say that mind your business because usually, as I grew up in India, and I know that's like it's sometimes it becomes over too much. I'm not judging and I'm not pointing out anyone, but you experience in general wherever you move, even that whether don't know whether they are your relative or not related, but you experience which is unwanted and there which is like they are crossing the boundaries, which is not supposed to be done because you have your own work, your life, and somebody has their own work and life. You don't know what's the person is going on. So that's so true. And I think especially when women are listening, they can understand by this, or the whoever audience and viewers are listening, they can also get that feeling how they can create those boundaries for keeping their mental health safe, or having themselves that positive mindset as you always do. So Dr. Bindu, you do a lot of training and globally, a lot of work you do globally. So I must believe you must be having a lot of positive stories for inspiring and motivating all of us. But would you mind sharing maybe some instance or some story with us today?
This, you know what, I feel a lot of gratitude when you said that, because I have worked with plenty of women and men, plenty,
Yeah,
um, where, I don't take on every client. I take on people who really want to change their life.
yeah,
Because when I take on somebody, I give my 150% into it. And I've been very glad to be a success in their lives. And that's not even just, it's not me. I feel like the tools is from the universe that gave me to help. That's my purpose. I was brought up to that point.
yeah.
And recently, and I'm going to say it was the first thing that hit into my head was this male police,
Mm-hmm.
NYPD. And most of us know in New York and
Yeah,
NYPD,
yeah,
they risk their lives for us,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they're always on the
Yes,
streets to help us. And
yes,
with that, you see so many things and experiences of life that's on the street in different ways of protecting the environment, things that I have not seen, or maybe I've seen in the news. I don't know what that feels like.
mm-hmm.
And a lot of people who, they don't like to open themselves up to this type of healing initially because they're still learning the process. But
Mm-hmm.
anyone who's ever come to me, they're come to me for that purpose.
Right.
Really. There's no, they've come because they found me to go through their journey. Like I'm like a stepping stone to push them in off the nest, like a bird,
Yes.
the baby bird
Yeah.
off. So
Yeah.
that's how it was. And this NYPD police officer came to me, and he did a past life regression. And he came for one purpose, which was something about his personal life. But what came out was so profound in regards to his personal life as well, where he realized that no matter what direction he can take, he's going to always be okay.
Right.
And what happens is when we don't know our future, most of us, we try to
Right.
control it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We
So
try to
true.
control because why? Why do we control? We control because there's always a fear of loss or fear of hurt.
Yep.
So because we don't want to be hurt, or we don't want to lose an opportunity or lose something, that fear always drives us to control a situation.
Yeah.
And we don't allow the universe or God or whatever you believe in to bring it to you, because
Mm-hmm.
every religion tells you trust in God,
Mm.
right? Every religion say ask your universe or God and you will receive. But as human beings, we know this, we preach this, but do we really follow this?
Mm.
Not really, because we have fears and we don't want to live in that fear, so we try to control. And that was such a profound thing for him, where he realized through the different scenarios we went through in our session together, he's like, I don't need to control anymore. I'm not scared. I'm not worried. Whatever is meant to happen between his personal life or his career, he's okay with it. And you
Mm.
can see that peace that came to
Yeah.
him.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt so good. I was like, good, I was able to bring that to you.
Yeah.
And he felt settled. And then he emailed me a couple days later, and he said, I came for one thing, but you brought open a bigger thing in my life where I feel so much peace that I haven't felt in years.
Wow.
And he goes, thank you, God bless you. And he told me, I work in this part of New York. If you ever need anything, Doc, I'll help you. Just call me. If anybody bothers you, I'll protect you for life.
That's really a nice story you brought on this platform, and I feel like I can, it can really bring us a lot of the way your work is around the people, the way you really help the people. It's not about the, as a profession. It's about beyond that. Your purpose, your
Yes,
mission. You are really helping the people to find their own purpose.
right.
So when we talk about our work and purpose, they all come together. It brings automatically a lot of energy and joy in our life.
Yeah.
And I can feel when you was narrating this story. It was like I can
It's
feel
so
that.
fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. I feel happy. I'm able to do something. And
Yeah,
especially when you've gone through something, and you can bypass that struggle for somebody else, right?
yeah, yeah.
You know? So it's wherever I'm going, it's whatever the universe's plan is. I'm 100% believer. Just like how you and I are here.
Yes,
It's for
that's so.
somebody.
Yes, it's so nice. And when we are talking, and you brought such a inspiring stories for all of us, for our audience, and we are talking about your work. So when we are talking about your work, and in again, I'm talking about this. You brought about this fear factor, and we all have, in some sort of a fear in our life. So which hinder, or which create a boundary in our life to explore further what we have in us, or what kind of thing we can do in our life. So what kind of advice, or what kind of maybe any suggestion can you give to our viewers, uh, how they can overcome that fear in their life?
Fear is the non-healing of your hurt. Okay. Fear is the non-healing of your hurt. You have hurt somewhere where you've experienced that now that you don't want to go through that again, that you're going to control because you're
Yeah.
scared of that repeating.
Yeah.
An example would be if you were in a bad relationship, you met a bad partner, and now you're scared. So you feel like
Mhm.
every time you meet somebody new, you're going to have your
Mhm.
guard up, right? Like they say, guard
Mhm.
up. I'm going to be careful. I'm going to watch. I'm going to see. I'm going to know.
Yes,
I'm going to,
yes, yes,
all that. And that's all fear based, right? You're not
yes, yes.
allowing the process because you're like, oh, that person's going to hurt me or betray me or, something negative.
Yeah.
And I always say, what have we learned the whole process since birth? If you
Mm-hmm.
put your hand in fire, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you take your finger out, it hurts. You know, when you see fire, you're not going to go in it, right? You
Yeah,
already
yeah,
learned that lesson. So
yeah,
what is the basis? Trust you.
yeah,
You learned your lesson in a bad relationship. You
yeah.
knew during that bad relationship there were some flags that came up that this is not appropriate, but you
Right.
ignored it, right? In the
Yeah.
relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
now you've overcome that, so you've experienced it. So when you see somebody, you're going to know, just like when you
Mm.
see fire,
Right.
you're going to sense that is that person fire or not, and trust you. And that's how you overcome your fear. You must trust you. If you
Mm.
trust you and you have the confidence in you,
Yeah,
nothing else bothers you.
yeah.
I'll give you a small another example, right? Like if if you're not fat, right? If you're like super super skinny and someone calls you fat, right?
Mm.
You'll
Mm.
be like, whatever, you got a problem, right? You're not hurt, you're not upset. You just look at that person and, okay, he's a little strange or she's a little strange, calling me fat. But
Right.
if you're just a slightly overweight, let's say you're not,
Mm.
like you
Mm-hmm.
really, like you look great, but you feel you're fat, and
Right.
someone calls you fat, oh my
Mm.
God, it
Mm.
bothers you.
Mm.
But if you're confident in yourself and you don't care what anyone says,
Right.
and you'll be fine. And that's where
Right.
you must learn to empower yourself. And I am telling you, hands down, the first step is meditation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the way you have given this example is so true, especially, uh, when we are talking about this thinking of perfect and having
Yes.
this perfect ideology, like, okay, we have to be perfect. And I remember even, we always have this procrastination and being perfect, especially, when we are on this platform as a women dialogue, we are talking, it's not only about women, but we always have feeling like, okay, I want to do this, but I'm not good in it. I'm not good in it, because those kind of fear or those kind of perfect kind of theory in our mind we have developed. But when here we are thinking and listening from you, having that confidence in yourself and bringing out the way, that's super. And I think that's really very inspiring and very informative for the audience who are listening and watching us, because there is nothing called perfect, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah. Perfect is only in your mind.
Yes.
What you think is perfect is what you think. And if you haven't reached that level of perfect, and that means what you believe is perfect, that what other people think is perfect, then
Yeah.
you're living for somebody else, right?
Right. Yeah.
But just understanding that you're great just the way you are and
Mhm.
accepting your bads and your goods is very
Right.
empowering.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's super powerful once again. And when we are sharing all these, inspiring and motivating our talks to our audience, uh, as a female, as a successful person, why you think that this platform of Women Dialogue is important?
well, my view of women empowerment and what I think you bring is different women with different aspects of what their experiences are and whatever they've learned in wisdom, as well as their education and so forth, right? But
Yeah.
the most important thing about what I feel, especially in this world where it is men versus women, there's no doubt about
Mm-hmm.
it. We can't sugarcoat that, right? Men
Mm-hmm.
do have more access to privilege than women in the working world, different worlds. It's statistically shown, pay equity. I mean, we know it. But the most important thing is being a woman, and when you are in a world of men dominance, it's not
Mm-hmm.
becoming a man.
Mm-hmm.
It's being a woman and being powerful in who you
Mm-hmm.
are. And
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing. And that's why I'm glad that you're doing this. You're showing different women's and different aspects of all these women's and their takeaways and where they got and how they did it, you know. And it's a great, you're doing wonderful, and I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you, and thank you for such great words. I really appreciate the way you encourage me, and you are appreciating my work. So you really bring a very pinpoint question, which is about this male world. And so when we are talking about it, uh, why you think this majority of world organization, we talk about a lot of this equality and all, are still unable to achieve as far as women empowerment is concerned? Why do
I
you
don't
think? We
blame.
know this male and male versus female, but they so called, we have a lot of world organization, those are saying this, okay, we are working for this. So why it is still an issue?
I think we need more women. That's why. I don't blame the men. You know, we need more women who, you know, there's a lot of women who don't believe in this, you know, or a lot of women who feel that their worth is based on a man or their happiness is based on a man. And those
Right.
things are really important for people, for like us, like me, you, other women, to show empowerment, but at the same time being our feminine self.
Right.
And that's really important, to feel like a woman, to be a woman, to be loving like a woman, all the nurturing issues, aspects of being a woman, a mother, a wife, a child, or whatever it may be, right?
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
the beauty of a woman, but powerful, right? Not based on someone else or a man or all these different things. Like I can be a very successful author. I mean, entrepreneur. I am an author. See, this is my book. You know, I
Yes,
have it
yeah.
here.
I was coming on that. Yeah, you wrote a very beautiful book and very famous. I think it's available on Amazon as well. So please share about your book you were showing and tell us about
Yeah,
your.
no. But I was just saying, like, you
No,
know,
no, no. But
this
we
book.
would like to hear and continue our the further. Then yes, please.
Okay, I'll come back to this. But I was just saying, like, it's really important for us to empower other women to be in our power to support each other, to change the dynamics
Yeah,
of what you were asking me about the men dominant world.
yeah.
And I will. It will. Within time, it will. I'm sure of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you were saying about my book. Yes, my book is My Soulmate, My Love, My Narcissist.
Yes. Wow.
It's the healing and recovery from a narcissistic relationship. And it took me some time to put this book out because, you know, being from science, I didn't know how to put just enough science and just enough layman terms so everyone can read this and understand it.
Wow.
So I love my book, and I hope that it really helps a lot of people out there.
No, I definitely appreciate the way you explained that you brought your this science acumen with the working with the day to day with everyone people and bringing all together both aspects, and you form such a beautiful book. And if you can explain a little bit more about your book, you mentioned about this narcissistic relation. Might be our audience must be curious to know what it is all about. So if you can share a little bit about it.
So a narcissist is a person who has deep seated insecurities, and they're very self-centered, all about themselves. They are powered by their insecurities, and they're most powered by validation from everybody else. That means they have to, when they walk in a room, they're charming, they're the smartest in the crowd, the vibrant in the crowd, all attention's on them. And that's what makes them feel self-worth. And they have no empathy or care for anybody else. They are always first, and they will crush somebody to reach that point. And even to a point where they can lie and make up stories of how brilliant and all their achievements are, which they're not. It's all a delusion of this grandeur that they're in. And when they're in a relationship with a partner, they will pull that partner down to make them feel better about themselves. And it's a very mentally twisted way. And a lot of times partners who are involved with narcissistic relationships, they don't even realize they're with a narcissist. And they feel like this person loves them so much and always trying to better them and criticize them in such a way they lose their identity.
Mm.
It's very horrific. It's the worst thing anybody can go through. And it's very hard to come out of it, to understand it, because you really become isolated, like friends,
Mm.
family, everyone's out of the picture. It's just you and this little bubble with this partner that you're trying so hard to make things work,
Yeah.
and always feel loved, and you're not.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's very, very tough, and that healing is very difficult, but it is done,
Mm.
and it's healing and recovering and becoming who you are, and not become bitter. Like,
Mm.
unfortunately, a lot of people who are in toxic relationships, and I see these, group chats and these Facebook pages, and it's like a shrine of hate.
Mm.
Oh, I hate him, or I hate her, and he was this and he's that, and everybody jumps on the wagon. Yes, mine was too, and I hate them and they're horrible. But that's not healing. And I
Yeah.
see that and I feel horrible. I'm like, you're not
Yeah.
healing, you're just hating each other and bringing a big negative ball of energy.
Right.
So this book kind of breaks all that down and teaches you the best way in your recovery and healing from these relationships, and to empower yourself.
Wow, wow, that's wonderful, and that seems like very helpful for all of us. And we must read that at least once. And how we can find it? Is it available on Amazon, or how we can?
It's on Amazon, in United States, Barnes and Nobles, it's all over the world, in all the bookstores. You can order it. It's a blessing for me. So yeah, you can find it anywhere. You can go online and just Google it.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And I will put the description for making it easy for our audience in the description as well. So before finishing, one last
Sure.
thing.
No
Any
problem.
message to our audience or people who you like to follow your path and who would like to connect with you further?
I always say, for anybody who's, wanting to empower themselves, or follow, don't my first thing is, don't judge people. You just don't know what is going on in their life.
Yeah.
People are cultivated to live a life of expression based on validity from others. And sometimes they can be really tortured and hurt inside. And we don't know. So it's always nice to be kind without knowing. It's
Right.
okay to smile at somebody. It doesn't hurt. You don't know. You might actually empower them, or make them feel better that day, to maybe go back to whatever they're going through and feel more
Mhm.
stronger. So kindness goes a long way, and don't look
Mhm.
at kindness as weakness.
Yeah. Yeah. And once again, thank you. Thanks a lot. That's super powerful. And the way you shared your work, your learning, it is really empowering for me. And I believe it's same way for empowering for all of our audience and viewers. So I'm really thankful that you find out some time to come on this platform and enlighten us. And once again, thank you so much.
Oh, it was such a privilege, honor to be here. I love our work together, Dr. Sashi.
And once again, thank you to all viewers. If you would like to hear more women voices and part of Women Dialogues, please connect with us. And please share, subscribe, and like. Thank you. See you in the next episode. And as I said, don't forget to check Dr. Bindu's Babu's work, and her books detail are available in the description as well. See you next time. Till then, take care. Bye bye.